going up the elevator. Like I've been on some like rickety elevators, but this thing was like, like it was obnoxiously loud to the point where like we were on the elevator with strangers and you know when you know everyone's thinking the same thing, but no one will say it because if someone says it, then it's real. That's what it felt like. It was like, no one say that this is crazy because then if it does, we're all, I don't know. It just felt like, don't acknowledge it, you know?
You excited for the trips we got coming up?
Fired up. We got 5.
5, I think.
They're all in the States. Nope. Some of them are in the States.
90%. No, I guess
Edmonton, Columbus, Florida, Virginia, Florida.
Yeah, we should go back.
That's the lineup.
Wait, why Florida twice?
Florida in February. So if you count, I guess the rest of this year.
I'm just counting the rest of this year.
The rest of this year.
I was like, are we going to Florida again in December?
We could. Rest of this year is Edmonton, Columbus, Florida, Virginia, which would be good. I'm excited.
What is your best? No. What was your worst travel experience?
Oh, that's a good question. I went. It wasn't because of the travel. It was just bad timing. I went to like 2017 or 2018. I flew to Chicago to see an ex-girlfriend. And I had, I think, you know the Norwalk virus? Norwalk?
Yeah.
Norwalk virus, right?
I think so. Isn't that a street in Guelph? Norfolk.
Only Guelphites will get that one. I'm pretty sure I had the Norwalk virus. I don't know why I thought that. I think because the symptoms just seemed to line up. It was like the flu, but like the worst flu I ever had.
Yeah.
I remember walking. So actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. I fly there, but I'm so sick. And
wait, why did you go?
She was there on a business conference.
Okay.
And
wait, were you broken up at this point?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. But she was flying from BC or something. So I hadn't seen her. So then it's like, this would be great timing. I'll be in Chicago. You should fly there at the same time. We can see each other. So I met her there. But then I was so sick. I remember being on the plane for like an hour flight or less. And I was like dying. I remember like trying to like eat a hard-boiled egg and a carrot. And I was like, this is so hard right now. And that like 45-minute flight felt like forever. And I get there and I couldn't really sleep. My body aches were so bad that I remember walking. Like I still just try to do what I could do, you know? I was like walking around Chicago with her. And I remember not being able to stand up straight.
Whoa.
The muscles in my back. I remember I couldn't do it. It was so painful. And I was like, this thing is on another level. And it was so intense. It wasn't intense for a day. It was intense for like a week. You know how you get the flu and you're like one really bad day, maybe two, and then it starts to taper? This just stayed intense for the whole time. I think I was sick when I got back home too. It just hung around.
Wow.
That was probably the most sick I've ever been. Without drugs and alcohol.
So it had to be simultaneously the worst sickness and the worst travel.
What do you mean?
Like you had a 2-for-1. They were both the worst.
Yeah, that's what made it.
Because like a bad travel could just be like, oh, I had like.
That would have been a nice trip. It was too bad because, I mean, it was fine. But it was like with the just being that sick, it was like, this is hard to live, you know? Oh, it was so brutal. It was hard. So yeah, that's probably the worst. Everything. It's not like I've had tons of different travel opportunities, and any of the ones I've done have all been like pretty smooth.
Yeah.
I did go to Philadelphia once with a bunch of my cousins and my uncle, and This isn't a bad trip, but it was just funny because it was like we stayed in the cheapest hotel we could find in Philly, and the way the hotel was set up was it was kind of like a cylinder. So the elevator was in the middle, and then you'd go into the elevator, and then when you came up, all the rooms were like on the outer perimeter. And going up the elevator, like I've been on some like rickety elevators, but this thing was like like it was obnoxiously loud to the point where like we were on the elevator with strangers, and you know when you know everyone's thinking the same thing, but no one will say it because if someone says it, then it's real. That's what it felt like. It was like, no one say that this is crazy because then if it does, we're all, I don't know. It just felt like, don't acknowledge it, you know?
Yeah.
It felt like the thing might fall. Like just, it did not feel like safe. But we were on the top floor and we get into our room and we're all like, wow, this place is like a shithole. And then we get into our room and me and my one cousin are like, we're kind of just settling in and we go over to the sliding door because we had some little balcony or something. And we go over to the sliding door and we didn't even open it or anything. I think we were just chilling. And at one point we just like kind of lean against it and the whole thing moved. Like the door frame and the wall. Like it's like the bottom of the whole wall wasn't really attached to the floor. It's like you could move that whole.
So like you could just totally just.
Well, what we realized is like one of our other cousins is like
instruction
generally impulsive. So we're like, we probably shouldn't tell him about this because he might play with this and just go right through it. And then we're going off the 8th floor into the parking lot splat. That was pretty wild. Not a bad experience. That was funny, but it could have been.
Yeah,
could have been. But yeah,
that was like.
What about you?
Well, this is just like a good story. The worst. I mean, my plane anxiety is getting worse. Who knows why? So it feels like every flight's horrible.
Because none of the flights have been with me.
Yeah, fair enough. Is that the cure? Just bring your partner?
Yeah.
So you could both perish
Is
together?
that what makes your travel experiences tough, is just being scared on a flight?
Yeah.
So you haven't had anything actually bad happen? Have you?
Trying to think.
Do you have any road trips where you're like, something just went south?
No.
You haven't had that many road trips, have you?
Trying to think what my farthest. I drove to New Brunswick.
It's a pretty good road trip.
14 hours.
Yeah. Okay.
We did tons to Sault Ste. Marie.
Did you? Okay.
Those are 8-9 hours.
Yeah.
But no, when we went to Detroit.
Yeah.
For Noah's birthday. It's like, it wasn't even in Detroit, but it was just outside, but it was sketchy enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we did Topgolf, and then everyone wanted to, like, we were going to go out after somewhere. But then it just ended up being like a frat party in the hotel room because they're all like 23, 24, right?
It's the best.
So it's like,
White claws
the
everywhere.
the older people went outside to the fire table that was outside.
Yeah.
And we like met other people there. And we were just chatting. They were like, apparently like destroying the room and stuff. But at one point, they needed more booze, right? The only sober person was Tian. So she brings me, Noah's friend who's like 6'7", big dude, okay? And then her brother Connor, who was my age, and me. The four of us go. Like, it's late, and we're at one of these like liquor marts or whatever. They have, you can't even, the cashiers are behind bulletproof glass.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to put the booze in this like spinning thing, and then they take it and they scan it and then whatever. And then we didn't even realize though that like, because Connor and I were like, had some drinks, so we were just kind of like looking around. We didn't even notice who was in the store. And Tian's like, yeah, we gotta get out of here. Like, it's like a little scary. People started yelling at each other. and then the 6'7" guy, he like, we all get back in the car. We're like, okay, we're good. He's like, oh no, I said I would ask for ping pong balls. And we're like, you don't have to go back in. He's like, I'm gonna go back in.
For beer pong,
he gives Tian his watch. he's like, I'm going back in. And he said when he got back in, they
Gives her his watch.
Yeah, he's like the customers were screaming at each other. He's like, I had to get out of there. I was like, and you're 6'7", bro. Like that's
jeez.
Poor Tian had remembered the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had a lot of road trips, but they were all like super awesome.
Yeah.
To be honest. I mean, as boring as road trips are, but like Florida a bunch of times, Virginia a bunch of times, Ohio a few times. I haven't driven in Canada that much. It's just too big.
Really.
It's too big. I'll just fly.
Yeah.
I'll just fly, dude.
Not even. It's just like,
you know?
I want to drive south, not west
or
east. Really.
Are you going to be, do we have any trips planned while you're prepping?
Yeah, Florida.
What's your game plan?
Get an Airbnb that has a kitchen.
Okay.
There's a million gyms. I'm not worried about the gym.
Of course. But I mean, you're very like habit based.
Oh,
very
that's
routine.
Like that's fine. Like I'll get my cardio in.
Like
get
I
my
don't
training in and cook. That's fine.
I don't think you a year or two ago would have been down to go anywhere.
I think because it's February, I'm okay.
It's earlier enough.
Like I wouldn't be down to like go in
May.
like May.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because then it's just I don't have the energy either. So it's just like February's fine.
Yeah.
Lots of time still. Plus I hope that I'm gonna be at an even better spot.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You'll be ahead of schedule kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the key. If you can travel and you're a little bit ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah. So travel.
I had a few clients actually.
Mm.
I've had multiple clients travel this year. And that was a good test for me as a coach. Kind of set them up with different strategies and stuff, which is super helpful. Because I think the key is like, if I can get clients to either, and it kind of depends where people are, but sometimes it's like, okay, how can we basically just get into like damage control mode and just come out here unscathed, depending on where they're at and what the objective of the trip is, or actually get them to like just stay on track the exact same. Just be like, everything's going to be different, but we're going to find ways to keep you on track and making progress, but still enjoying yourself. Particularly if it's a trip where you're going for fun. You know, it's not a work trip. It's something you're like, I'm going because it's vacation. I want to relax. I want to enjoy myself. I want to partake in different foods and beverages and, later nights, whatever.
It's because, like, I had never been to Europe, right? And there was just so much walking, which was good. It was positive because there was a lot of tarts being eaten as well, right? So it's like, I ate a tart or two a day, but I walked like 30,000 steps.
Tart or two a day.
A tart or two.
Tart or two a day. Yeah, that's key. If you can keep movement up, that's huge.
Right?
Buys you a lot of budget.
I ended up losing weight even though I was...
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
So much walking.
Yeah. You were still crushing water?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They would like... Okay, love you, family. But I was like, I need at least 4 to 5 liters of water a day for myself. They were going to buy like 2 1.5 liter and be like, that's good. Like 3 liters for 6 people.
For 6 people?
For 6 people.
Oh, yeah, no.
I was like, no.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I need 5 or 6 liters. I'd probably drink 2 or 3 a day.
I said 4 to 5.
Oh, did you? That's still a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. You're probably sweating a lot there, though. Yeah.
The walking, the gym.
Like on rest days,
you
I
sweat
don't
a
drink.
lot too.
On rest days, I really don't drink that much water. Like I'm consistently drinking it, but it's just not nearly as much because I just don't lose any. No sweating.
Fair. But anyways, with the steps, so yeah, you can use that to
move
your body.
Yeah.
And then that's when I was like, realized you were right. And was like, oh, you can out-train a bad diet, kind of.
Oh, you definitely can. Tree planting for me.
Yeah, I know. But you probably had, do you know how many steps a day?
No. Some people I think had like wearable tech stuff. So I'd have to ask someone that did that. Actually, if any of my tree planter friends listen to this, tell me.
Yeah, put it in the comments.
Yeah. What steps you had for like a full planting day. I'd guess
40,000? 30 to 40?
Probably at least, right? I'm sure some of them got more.
Because you were planning for how many hours straight?
It all depends on if you had to walk into your block.
Okay.
Because sometimes you had like a 30, 45, sometimes 60, but like a 30-minute walk or more
Okay.
in and
And
out.
this is carrying all the trees?
Sometimes you had to carry trees in if they couldn't get them in with quads or something. But you have your bags, you have your day bag with all your food, and then you have your 2 water jugs.
How
that are
did
full.
you find out about tree planting?
I had a cousin that did it out in Alberta.
Mm.
He's 8 years older than me, something like that, and he did it. And I reached out to him to ask him some advice on it. Me and one of my best friends wanted to do it. And then I also had a friend my age from high school that had done it a couple years prior, and he was still doing it, and he was looking to put together a crew. So then he
Okay.
brought us onto his crew. Yeah. So I
And you
knew
needed,
someone
like,
locally.
no training.
What's that?
Like what? Like, did you have to give a resume? Like, how did this work?
I don't remember.
Like,
I don't
do
think
they
so.
just be
It's
like,
not a
yeah,
real job.
like,
It's a-
like you gotta get trained, right?
No.
Oh,
No.
how do you
no.
know how to cut the grass? How to cut the
They
grass?
show you on like an orientation day.
Okay, it's a
Yeah.
training,
They just show you on one day when you get there.
and then that's it.
That's it.
And they
then-
don't tell you how much walking you're doing or how many bug bites you're gonna get, or
I mean, they try and let you know. You don't really know until you get there, but like they
Mm.
tell you, like everything is explained to you.
okay.
But like theory only matters so long until you're in it. But yeah, like they let you know, like, dude, it's brutal, but it's also awesome. It'll be simultaneously the best and worst job of your life.
It's like bodybuilding.
You think so?
It's like powerlifting.
Well, no, because you enjoy bodybuilding.
No, but prep's like simultaneously.
Oh, that's what you mean
Very
with prep.
hard.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, a lot of planting was very tough. But yeah, probably 40,000 steps plus. If I had to guess, I'd love to see someone. It depends on how efficient you are, probably as a planter, to be honest. Like the worst, I guess it depends. Like I was gonna say, like the worse you are as a planter, you're less efficient, so you're probably taking more steps. But I'm thinking like the better you are as a planter, you're moving quicker, and you're probably covering more ground. You're planting more trees, so you're actually probably stepping more. So, and you're bending over every 6 feet, planting a tree, carrying 40
Your back
pounds on your
hurt?
hips. Nope. Everyone always says that. Back doesn't hurt ever because you're just bending over your own body weight. Like you can
Oh.
bend over all day with your body weight
Where are you holding the trees?
on your hips.
Oh, on your hips.
Yeah, you have what hurt a lot was my traps.
Mm.
So anybody with like childbearing hips did real well with that because it's like they can actually sit on your hips. It's like I'm naturally
Oh.
super lean and skinny and narrow with like very narrow hips. So it's like the bags, as I would also lose weight during the season, the bags had shoulder straps. So they would end up taking the weight, the traps. So my neck and traps would just get like so sore. But I tried to like cinch up my belt always to try and get like the hips to carry it as much as I could. Some people could just take the shoulder straps off and just let them sit on their hips. And I was like, oh, that looks so nice.
And then this
But I
was
couldn't
like
do
while
that.
you were training, right?
No.
Like in the gym? You
I
hadn't
mean,
been-
like I trained before. You can't train while you're there.
No, I understand that. Like, so were you consistent in the gym before this?
Yep.
And then I can't believe I haven't asked you all these questions. I obviously have a lot of questions about this.
Yeah, everybody does. It's a weird thing.
So you were training consistently. I know you. So
Yep.
you were probably like 6 days a week. Like,
Yeah, I was training probably almost
Right.
every day.
did that not like affect you then not training? I know you were doing a lot of steps and stuff and you were social.
Yeah, like I wanted to train.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that must have been hard because that's what, like 8 weeks? 8 to 10 weeks?
To be honest, I don't remember it being problematic.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm so exhausted that like I couldn't possibly imagine going to a gym.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you know, when it's like the sun's coming down and you're like covered in dirt, you haven't showered in 5 days, and you just walked 40,000 steps and you have heat stroke and you're starving. You're just like, I just want to eat and go to bed because I got up at 5 this morning and it's 7:38 p.m. now and I just want to eat dinner, smoke a joint and go to bed. it's like I couldn't possibly imagine like walking into a gym and being like, time to go work out. So I'm like, nah.
Fair.
Yeah, so I actually don't remember that feeling at all. It's also like such a different like environment. Like it's a very much like culture shock being there, because you're kind of like
Hippies.
not in that sense, depending on where you are, like which camp I guess you go to, but like it's culture shock in the sense of like, if I can paint the picture, you're like you're potentially hours down these logging roads. They aren't even real roads. They're just logging roads. And hours down those from like a local town. And you're living in a tent with, dozens of other people, 50, 60 other people. And there's a cook trailer, and then there's a big mess tent. And then like basically besides that, that's just like, it's just tents and then these trailers. And you're just set up off one of these logging roads in the middle of nowhere. Like you have no idea where you are. And there's no light anywhere other than the sun. So it's like you're just
Do you have your phone?
Yeah, I have my phone, but it's always on airplane because you have no service.
And like, how do you charge it?
They had power stations there.
Okay.
Yeah, so like we had generators running 24/7. So you could charge your phone there. But we would go into town like shifts would change between like 3 or 4 days to like 7 or 8 or 9 days. So every week-ish, give or take a few days, you'd go into town. That's when you could clean yourself, do laundry, party, eat real food, buy supplies, charge your phone, go on Wi-Fi, check your Facebook, whatever, call people, interact with civilization. But that culture shock is like so weird. And you're kind of like forced to stay there in a way, right? Because you're like, well, I'm just stuck here. What can I do? It's like, well, you can read a book, take photos of bushes with your phone, smoke weed, have some drinks with some friends, and talk shit with friends. And then that's when, if you have free time. Other than that, you're just like eating and working. So it's like nothing else is really on your mind. You're like very unplugged. You're forced to unplug, which is super therapeutic, because you can't know what else is going on in the world. It'd be almost impossible for you to know, which is super cool. Yeah, so you're just like you're super out of touch, and it feels awesome. 8 weeks of just being like, I have no idea what's going on other than what's going on right here with 40, 50, 60 other people. And every day is the same right now.
Well,
it's cool.
Let's close it down.
So, I'll finish it with this.
Okay.
You get something called Christmas toe, tree planting.
Ew.
Because what happens is there's 2 techniques to planting a tree. Well, there's multiple techniques to planting an entire tree, but there's 2 techniques to like a specific aspect. They call screefing, which is one aspect to planting a tree, which is where one of your boots, when you're taking a step, when you find like a site where you're going to plant, you have to scrape off like the top layer of brush to get down to like the soil, right? So to do that, how you can screef is like you can use your heel or you can use your toe. In general, those are like the 2 primary techniques. And using your toe is like kind of lazy. It doesn't work as well, but it's quick. And when you use your toe and you do it over and over and over again, and you do it thousands of times a day for 8 weeks, your toes become numb, particularly your big toe. And so you end up doing like temporary nerve damage. And that nerve damage typically lasts until December, when you stop the contract at the start of July. So that's why they call it Christmas toe, because you get feeling back around Christmas. And that happened to me every time.
Because you use your toes.
Yeah. That's Christmas toe.
Jeez. So. All right.
Anyways, thanks everybody for listening to the show. You can follow me at Tim_MSHC. You can talk to me about coaching if you need fitness coaching. You can follow Sam at SlaysFit on Instagram and other platforms. And you can follow the show at Stay Peaked. You can listen to us YouTube, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks for listening. Talk to you soon.